Right, you are listening to the Odd Hours. Stay tuned for the emergency Odd Hours show reboot at the top of the hour. We're rebooting this thing. A man that needs a nickname, that is Otis Redding. I mean, Wilson Pickett has the wicked Wilson Pickett. So need to come up with a good nickname for Otis Redding. Just on the spot.
He had 11 Arms on the Dock of the Bay, and what else did he do?
Oh, he had a lot of other songs that might kind of be lost to memory unless you have like the 2-disc set Otis like me. So I could name off a bunch of songs, but I don't know how many people would really recognize them. But Cigarettes and Coffee is a great song.
I like that.
Cupid.
It's a great combination.
Yeah, I was thinking we maybe we could play that one at some point. I have a feeling you would enjoy it quite a bit. So, yeah, the great Otis Redding, much more than just sitting on the dock of the bay.
Yes.
A great song, but you got to dig a little bit deeper. Got to dig a little bit deeper. I've been wanting to dig a little deeper on some Louis Armstrong.
Yeah.
Because that guy was huge back in the day, and people really only remember him now for that one song.
Yeah, which one was that?
What a Wonderful World.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, maybe dig back on some Louis Armstrong. Great musicians that unfortunately time just in the interest of saving you all time, they just boil them down to one song and make these iconic figures just seemingly these one-hit wonders as time marches on. So we're going to try to fix that.
Yep.
That's going to be one of our new missions.
Yep.
Besides getting the Odd Hours reboot right, which the reboot didn't take.
You blew it again. You got
the
the wrong
reboot
song.
didn't take. It just didn't happen.
You still haven't learned how to visually hear wave files, right? Know which song you want.
I'm working on it.
Okay,
It's some kind of weird sensory combination thing. It's kind of like a divination of just some scattered chicken bones.
We played that game last night where I had the bartender at Johnny's grab a handful of change. I said, up to $1, and I can count it by sound if you drop it. And I got it.
You did?
Pretty close. I'm usually within 6 cents. Up to $1.
You have a sixth sense for this kind of thing.
I'm just a mediocre savant. I can't count cards and toothpicks. Just weird stuff by sound, and I can hear who a band was and stuff.
Yeah, you listen to music. You are well informed, and we are trying to get some more of that going. And I don't know. I think we can go ahead and maybe talk a little bit about.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about what happened over the weekend.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, so I don't know how much we talked about this, how much we told David about this, but yeah, I'm sure most people out there have heard. I don't know, maybe if you're not on social media, I don't know how much like the network news really picked up on the fact that Fort Collins were a bunch of just disrespectful, dirty bread throwers.
I know, drunken hooligans.
It was a melee. It was a mob scene. It was crazy.
Well, I will tell the story from my perspective. Can we do that?
Sure, why not?
Okay, because my perspective starts on Monday morning.
The Monday
following.
Okay.
Following the incident. I did not know about it yet. And I happen to currently work at a place called, I'm not going to say it, but they rent tents and things. So event stuff. And they just happened to be the company that rented many of the tables and chairs and tents for Taste of Fort Collins. So Monday morning when I got to work.
All right, this is a unique perspective. I like this.
In the back of one of these trucks was a loaf of bread. So I said, what is this? And one of the guys says, okay. So you know how Taste of Fort Collins is supposed to be raising awareness of local restaurants and, hunger in the region. So it's supposed to raise a little money and help hunger, stave off hunger for whoever. And so the Friday when the show started, they used these loaves of bread and they would throw one slice a pop out in the crowd, just kind of winging them out like little frisbees, giveaways, right? To remind people.
Promotional bread.
Promotional slices. Toast them yourself.
Autographed, maybe?
Yep, for your armpits, everyone. Here, dry them out. So they were trying to, use this as some sort of tangible reminder that hunger is a problem everywhere. So by the second day of said Taste of Fort Collins, there's two things going on. One, there's bread everywhere. Like it's mud stock, but it's bread stock. It's a big duck pond just trampled by turtles all over the place. So
just gluten and yeast everywhere.
Everywhere. So don't fall down if you have a gluten intolerance for this. It was a very violent time for the gluten intolerance.
Yeasty gluten. Just
celiacs, beware. So is that a contact problem like it is with peanuts? I don't know about how gluten works. But
hemoceliac.
There you go. No, we cured that in the 80s. I won't tell you how. So anyway, the second day, all the promoter people that are saying, hey, remember, hungry people are out there, and they gave up on the slice option and just started throwing whole bags of bread at the crowd, right?
So well, it's a growing problem. You have to escalate the giveaway.
People have bread by then. I guess so they need bread because they've bread.
But we couldn't give that bread to hungry people?
They were just throwing it at wealthy people in the crowd. So it didn't make much sense to me to begin with. But, so since they got lazy, they're throwing bags of bread everywhere. By the time the famed Smash Mouth gets on stage, that guy has smashed his mouth with many beers. And
I heard shots, too.
Shots.
I heard it was like between songs, he was just slamming shots.
Right. So there were 4 crowds for him. It was a lot of fun for him. But in the melee, like you do at concerts and getting rowdy, instead of beach balls being bounced around, people were throwing these bags of bread back at the stage.
And around the crowd.
Just around the crowd, you know, a fun bread-loving crowd. And
beach balls at a Beach Boys concert.
Like you do, you know. Yeah. They just didn't have the beach balls. So the bread
balls.
One bag of bread supposedly hit Smash Mouth in the mouth or in the face parts or somewhere.
And he wasn't hungry.
Not at all. And he was livid by this. He was upset and started cussing the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Like ditched the next song, and the bassist was singing somebody. You know, they just went into their popular song.
Eventually.
And he turned his back on the crowd after cussing them a good one and offering to whoop whoever threw the bread at him. Throw it again, they said. But
throw it now. I dare you. I effing dare you.
Yes, so he was rather belligerent towards our unknowing crowd. And
to like 1,000, 2,000 people who were there to ironically see a band no longer relevant.
It's a very hipster thing to do. And so they were doing that. So I may be in possession of a loaf of bread that may or may not have hit Smash Mouth in the face.
Do you have it in the van?
Nope.
Oh.
We made sandwiches with that.
So you don't have it.
I said,
I still have, no, I don't have it.
I thought you were going to put it on the mantle or something. Just
no,
to
we
keep it
wonder,
forever.
how do you frame a loaf of bread? Or
you could just get like a football case.
There you go.
You know, it's like plexiglass.
You'd have to vacuum it, vacuum seal it to get all the air out so the yeast didn't keep growing.
The Odd Hours needs to write him a letter and see if we can get an autograph to just tape onto that bag of bread.
Yes, I want an autograph.
You need a certificate of authentication to know that is the one that went off Smash Mouth's
There's got to be a
we don't presume to know it's the loaf.
You have to be the
may
loaf.
or may not be. We have not done forensic filing of the sweat stain on the side of the bag, so I don't know if this was the face bag or not. But that's what went down over the weekend.
Right. So and some people are up in arms, and some people in Fort Collins, terrible college students. Always blame the college students. It's easy.
Sure.
So Fort Collins is terrible and doesn't know how to behave, and we're what do
we
people
burn
say?
couches for fun. That's why you can't have couches on porches anymore here.
No, that's pretty much any college town in Colorado.
We accidentally riot here and there.
A good old couch fire now and then.
It happens.
That's the way it goes. Well,
cool summer nights.
Well, anyway, we've got a song right now. This is dedicated. This is dedicated from all the people who believe anyone who was at this show should be so ashamed for throwing bread.
Right. For the Smash Loaf incident.
The Smash Loaf. Yes, that's it. Smash Loaf Gate.
Yes.
Yes, we actually have the band Bread.
Yep.
Song dedicated to all those people that were at the show.
Yep.
Shame, shame, shame.
Look what you've done.
You were throwing bread, you filthy animals. This is the band Bread with a song called Look What You've Done.
This is how we do it.
And we don't even know what this sounds like, so
Nope.
we might not be listening to it long.
Nope, I thought you were going to use it as bed music. It was perfect time for my story.
Well, we couldn't find Walking on the Sun.
Nope.
We just didn't have it for you there. So that was Walking on the Moon.
Sure, still a cover, though, because that's how we do.
Still sounding great. And we are the Odd Hours. We are coming at you today. And so do I get this right that you made sandwiches with with what could have been the loaf of bread that hit smashed bread in the face?
Yep. We're part of Smash Loaf Gate.
You might have you were guilty of destroying evidence.
I may have been. That's true. But they were good
Obstruction
sandwiches.
of justice. Yes.
An obstruction of a definite travesty that went on here in town. So you dirty, filthy animals.
I am.
Watching, not just you, but those
okay.
people that even made it all possible.
I was just irreverent when I did.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Yes, you were
Flippant.
But what were we accused of? We were insensitive but not offensive.
Right. Insensitive jerks is what we've been called by a person from the city before.
Yes, that was
Back when they still gave us press releases.
that was simulated bus crash gate here on the Odd Hours.
That was my favorite simulated apology as well.
Oh yeah, we did that.
I heard that story.
Yeah, I told him briefly that we were
Oh.
encouraging people to go to the simulated bus crash here put on by the city.
Yeah.
It seemed like a special event. I wanted to go.
It was a great party.
I
was
wanted
gonna
people
play-
to be aware and
I
to see this.
Going to play one of the missing bodies. That's what I was wanting to do.
And then we had a rebroadcast the next week because it was a planned rebroadcast. It wasn't like we were suspended or something.
But the city can think that.
Yeah, it's fine. And then the week after that, we came back and actually did a simulated apology and made sure that people were aware we were very sorry to all of the simulated families who may have been affected by the tragedy. Let's just put this into proper perspective, people.
Did they have simulated funerals afterwards, or what?
I don't know if it went that far.
The city doesn't care about that part. So they just, once
Yeah.
they scooped up all the bodies and moved the...
Yeah, that's for the Funeral Home Association to worry about.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, this
They
was
have to be prepared too for
Yeah, it's true.
contingencies.
That's
whatever.
true. Yeah,
So
if
we
there's
were
a large.
informing the entire public.
Yeah, it's not like we were throwing bread around.
No, we weren't that bad.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's not like we were just being irreverent. We weren't being filthy little heathens
No, irreverent jerks is all.
out in the heat listening to Smash Mouth.
Like you do. We were also talking, what do we think next year's halfway one-hit wonder 90s band will be that they have headline?
That's right.
So we're going to try and pick some songs from who we think could very well play Taste of Fort Collins next year.
That's right.
Hopefully
Who
not
can
doing
they
canned
get?
food drives next year.
Yeah, leave your dented botulus food cans at home.
Don't make it a canned food drive. It could get real violent.
It's an apple drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, bad plan to hand out eggs.
Or moldy peaches,
Really, pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Do not give thousands of people anything you do not expect to be returned in
Unless
kind.
it has low weight, high wind resistance. Then it's okay. Peach balls are fine. But anything that can cut through the wind, don't hand it to a crowd.
Yeah. Next year there'll be like 10,000 like wiffle balls. Wiffle frisbees.
There you go.
It's a new thing born right here in Fort Collins. Somebody get on that.
Frisbees that won't fly. So they can't hurt anyone.
Well, they still hurt. They just don't go far.
Oh, yeah. We're known to throw. So tell us a story about bread,
A
Dave.
story about bread. Oh gosh. Well,
Yes, we still have David
I don't
here.
want to have stories about
We-
bread.
we-
I'm going to be telling stories on stage at Estes Park this week.
Yeah, the
weekend.
Rocky Mountain Irish Festival.
Yeah, and I hope no one brings bread to the
No!
festival. I think security is going to be stopping people,
Patting people down.
patting people down.
For unleavened
Irish
soda
whiskey
bread.
is fine. Soda bread is fine, but any other kind of bread, and security will not
Probably
let you in.
probably no outside whiskey.
I could get some
Probably
distance on a
not.
bagel.
They might be checking for outside
are
whiskey and soda
close.
bread. But that will be available at any of the conveniently
Yes,
located
yes, but not throwable.
concessionaries.
Available, but not throwable. At least not when I'm on stage. Hopefully.
Yeah, no containers with lids. There.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes.
really did miss out because I did intend and I forgot to, but I host an open mic on Tuesday nights over here at Avo's, really close to the studio, and I really did intend to bring like half a loaf of bread I had in the fridge for the audience to throw at me last night. I really did intend to, and I got halfway here and I went, well, I'm not pulling over to buy bread for people to throw at
To
me.
throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already got bread that I might not get to eat before it goes bad. Yeah, we're all just raising awareness. You have to waste resources to somehow raise awareness that other people might not have as much.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty much how we do. Just like we need to have like the bucket of bread challenge. Just dumping,
that one.
dumping buckets of bread on your head.
Didn't we have a bucket of squirrels? What was that?
We could have.
Ferrets. What did we talk about that time?
Yeah.
We have a lot of weird talk. Never mind. You tell a story.
All right,
I'm not good
Yes,
at it.
but
I'll
David
tell
over
the
here,
story.
he's all the way from Michigan here in Colorado for the Rocky Mountain Irish Festival.
Fest. And this actually is a story from my book, Clandano, Storied History of Ireland. But I inspired by the beautiful young lady that is in the studio today. It's too bad this is radio, so you can't all see this young creature who actually just stepped out. Where'd
You
she
all
go?
know her as daughter?
Daughter. But she's a very, very pretty young girl, dimples, long hair, and it just reminded me of a particular story from my clan. But the first Donald, actually his grandfather was named Sorla, and he was the head of the clan. And Sorla was a very, very powerful man. His clan extended to the west coast of Scotland, the Hebrides Islands, and Ireland. Here she walked back in. There she is. Too bad this is not television, so you couldn't see that. Beautiful
We're
creature.
pretty sure it's actually not Tobias's daughter.
Yeah, no, she
I
is.
doubt it must be adopted because she's just way too
That's
pretty.
what everyone says.
Way too
In
pretty.
one fell swoop, when I show people a picture of my daughter, they both compliment her looks and insult mine at the same time with one incredulous look. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead. Well, Sorla was the head of the clan. Very powerful man. And also the powerful people in the region were the Vikings. And the Vikings settled all along those islands between Ireland and Scotland. And one of the trips, Olaf, who was the most powerful, Olaf, who was the most powerful of the Vikings, came into Islay, which is where Sorla lived, and brought with him his daughter. And Sorla took one look at this young lady and fell in love. She was just so beautiful, dimples and long hair, blue eyes. And Sorla said, I have to marry that young girl. She's just way too pretty, and I'm in love. So Sorla went to Olaf, king of all the Vikings, and said, I must marry your daughter. May I have permission to marry your daughter? And Olaf said, no. No way are you going to marry my daughter.
What's that song? Why you gotta be so mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the
Why you
same.
gotta be
this
so
is-
cruel? Same
yeah,
thing.
it's the same
Actually, this
story.
is a long story, so anytime you want to cut in with some music that's appropriate, just pick something out.
Okay. Let me find something.
So now I can see them, their heads are spinning, trying to figure out the appropriate song. But Olaf said no, and Sorla was just heartbroken. And he told his friend, Morris MacNeil, he says, I can't marry Ragnhilda. Her father, Olaf, won't let me. What am I going to do? And Morris MacNeil said, leave it to me. I will come up with a plan in which where Olaf will allow you to marry Ragnhilda. So the next day, actually the whole crew sailed back to, Olaf sailed back to his island, but later came back to the same island, this time without Ragnhilda. And when he did, Morris MacNeil came up to Olaf and said, I would love to sail on your crew. I'm an excellent sailor, and I promise to be a loyal and dutiful sailor on your crew. So Olaf said, sure, Morris MacNeil, you can sail on my ship. So Olaf and Sorla did some business, and then Olaf went back to his ship to sail back to his home. And Morris MacNeil now was in his crew. Mm-hmm. But what Olaf didn't know is the night before, Olaf snuck aboard ship, drilled a bunch of holes, 12 holes in fact, in the ship. And he patched them up with a gooey substance of suet and fat, kind of like
Bread.
Kind of like bread. Kind of like bread that you had put. I told you I had a bread story.
Okay, coming around.
Bread that had been
rotten
sat
potatoes.
in water for a long, long period of time. You know, real gooey and yucky.
Yep.
And he plugged those holes with this gooey bread substance. And then Olaf and his crew, which now included Morris MacNeil, went sailing away. Now, according to plan, Sorla was going to follow him in Sorla's boat about a half hour later. So they sail out to sea. And they're a half hour out to sea, an hour out to sea, 2 hours out to sea. And now this gooey substance of bread started to leak it got extra gooey. And water started coming in the holes of the ship. And all of a sudden, water is leaking. And the crew is saying, "My gosh, Olaf, our ship has a leak." And a little while later, "Oh, my gosh, Olaf, our ship has another leak." And it wasn't too long before the leaks were sprung all over the place. And the entire crew, including Olaf, are knee-deep in water.
Oh, stay tuned for part 2.
Part 2 is coming up.
What do you think? All right, so St. Olaf, I'm sorry, not St. Olaf. Olaf and the whole crew are knee-deep in water.
Exactly. That's where we're leaving it off.
Okay.
Okay.
Music time.
You are listening to The Odd Hours.
Give us your car. Are you playing anything? Okay. He's not ready. Is this Smash cover?
It's supposed to be.
Okay.
It's not firing up. We're having some technically difficulties. All right. Well, how about part 2 continues?
Oh, my gosh.
God, don't do that.
No?
My gosh, don't do part 2.
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
Whatever.
Okay, we got suspense. All right. Olaf and the crew, knee deep in water.
This is about pretty girls.
Ah, fair maidens and pretty girls. Stories of
Dada.
KRFC is supported by listener members and the Junior League of Fort Collins, hosting the 2015 Terrace and Garden Tour in Eagle Ranch Estates on Saturday, June 20th. This year, the tour visits 11 gardens and supports programs such as the Junior League Career Closet and the Poudre School District Snack Program. More information can be found at JLFortCollins.com. It's a lot more clear that way. I don't have to spell the whole thing out. JLFortCollins.com for more information about that big event coming up this weekend out there at the Eagle Ranch Estates. You are listening to The Odd Hours right here on KRFC Fort Collins. Here we go. We've got Chunk, no Captain Chunk, there with All-Star. Not really sure who did that originally. Who knows? It wouldn't tie into the show in any way. No.
Oh.
But yeah, so apparently somebody here at the station getting resourceful. We didn't have any bread, so somebody just came in and chucked a few corn tortillas our way.
Yeah, bread frisbees.
Kind of the same thing.
Real similar. These are cold. He must have gotten them from the fridge.
Yeah.
They fly better that way.
Yes, one of those old floppy. It's like an old Nerf frisbee. Did you ever have a Nerf frisbee?
Yeah.
They were
I
just
think I
like
did.
real floppy.
They were awful. Yeah.
Yeah, they were still kind of fun, but it was cool because you'd catch it and it would just kind of like squish into your hand a little bit.
Yeah, I like the ones
You'd
that you
get
would play with in the pool that would soak water up. So when you would throw them, they'd sling water off of them.
Oh,
and
right,
those were
right,
great.
right. All good times.
Speaking of water,
Yes.
Oh, what a segue that was. That was
We
perfect.
pick up with part 2. So Olaf and the crew.
Olaf and his crew are getting wet. Water is coming in through the holes. And not only water, these holes are pretty good size. Fish are coming in through these holes. And all of a sudden, the boat is being filled with water and fish. And Olaf now is starting to panic because now all of a sudden is up to his knees. And he's wondering, what is he going to do? And he wants to see his fair maiden daughter one of these days. We just walked back into the studio. And so Olaf is starting to panic. And just as Olaf is panicked to the hilt, here comes a ship on the horizon. And whose ship do you think it might be? It was Sorla's ship. Sorla, there you go. Sorla all of a sudden came on the horizon, getting closer and closer. And Olaf and his crew are yelling, please, please help, please help. And they suddenly realize it's Sorla's ship. So they're yelling, Sorla, help us, help us. Our ship is sinking. We have fish in our boat. So Sorla gets... you don't get it.
We'll give you fish.
That's called... Yeah. You wanted fish in the story, so I put fish in the story.
Right.
oh, fishermen. We're not playing that song now, so it doesn't matter.
Well, forget about the fish. There was water. There was water in the boat. And it was starting to sink. So Sorla gets really close. Now Olaf yells to Sorla, Sorla, please help us. And Sorla says, what do you think Sorla says?
Suck it.
That's exactly what you guys are just way too good. That's exactly what he said.
Except it was the 2,000-year-old Irish equivalent.
But 2,000 years ago, it was a different word, bugger off. I don't know what he said, but it was, he sucked it. But he, basically, the gist of it was, no, I'm not going to help you.
See, I know how stories work. What's going on here?
So that's when Morris MacNeil said to Olaf, what you need to do is to promise Sorla that he could wed his daughter, and then Sorla would rescue us. So that's when Olaf said to Sorla, I promise, if you rescue us, I will allow you to marry my beautiful daughter, Ronhilda. So that was the cue. Sorla came, put his boat right next to Olaf's. Olaf and his crew jumped aboard Sorla's boat, and they invited Morris to come along with them, and Morris said, no, I promised you I would stay with this ship. I'm going to stay with this sinking ship. And Olaf and Sorla sailed away. Morris was left with the sinking ship. And as soon as they got out of sight, Morris MacNeil realized he knew where all the holes were, because he's the one who drilled the holes. And he had in his satchel plugs to fill up all these holes. And he went through and plugged in each hole, then bailed out the ship. And now Morris MacNeil became the proud owner of a Viking ship because he outsmarted Olaf. Now, Olaf and Sorla went sailing back to Olaf's home. And per promise, Olaf allowed Sorla to marry Ronhilda, the beautiful Ronhilda. And Sorla and Ronhilda became husband and wife and the proud leaders of a clan of which I am a descendant. Clan Donald. For many, many generations thereafter, I can call Ronhilda my great-great-grandmother and Sorla my great-great-grandfather, because I'm a descendant from those wonderful people who fooled Olaf into allowing Sorla into marry Ronhilda.
And that's why we name boats after women.
That's right. That's another part of the story.
Oh.
See, we just layering it out for you.
Well, that's the best part about a story. You know, most people can't come back and say, that's not what happened.
It is it's one of the nice things about telling old stories, and I tell a lot of them. You can see them, by the way, at my website. It's clandonald.net is where my story. Clandonald, CLANDONNELL.net. A lot of my stories are there. But my stories are all true stories, all historical, and what you find is when you're researching those kinds of stories taking place that long ago, your number one source of information is almost always a dead person. Wow. And that's my source of information, and I've had to learn how to communicate and gather all this information, truthful data, from dead people. That's the source of my information.
Like directly?
Directly, indirectly. Sometimes I get them by... I have one laugh, one stare.
So you're a medium, or you just read a lot of books?
Sometimes they write down their stories. Sometimes they write down their data. But sometimes you actually have to mind meld and just kind of
books are basically conversations with dead people.
Conversations with dead people. Exactly.
And imaginary people.
That's what history is.
Yeah, that too.
Imaginary dead people.
Yeah.
And that's, you'll get a lot of conversations with imaginary dead people in my book. Clan Donald, A Storied History of Ireland.
I love it.
As true as you can prove it to be.
Exactly. How are you going to disprove any of my stories?
Right. Oh, so true.
Just keep saying no. Like all the characters.
I got to change my story now. Suck it. Suck it is what he said. I got to write that down. From now on, I got to change it.
KRFC is supported by our listener members and Art Lab Fort Collins, where empty storefronts are turned into vibrant spaces where art happens. Art Lab is a cooperative art, music, and performance initiative made by the creatives in Fort Collins. Art Lab provides the community members access to art, music, theater, and dance through diverse performance and gallery opportunities, workshops, and community activity. More information about events at Art Lab is available online at artlabfortcollins.org.
KRFC, Fort Collins. Let's do the weather now.
Fun with commas.
Dangling participles and such.
Yeah, you better put that away.
Sorry. Currently, it is Fort Collins, is what the weather tells me, and it is 81 degrees out there if this thing's not lying. And it's going to be partly cloudy off and on throughout the rest of the afternoon, but we are going to stay about 80, upper 70s to 80 degrees. We're looking at supposed sunny skies for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We got a 93 in there on Friday. The lows are in the low 60s, upper 50s. So it looks like Summer's upon us, but keep in mind, weather can get you at any moment. So pack a canoe, an umbrella, lightning rod.
That sounded like lightning.
Yeah, no, I felt someone next to me just then.
Must be one of those imaginary dead people.
No, they're here to tell me stories. I just can't hear.
Secrets.
Yeah, I don't speak Old Gaelic, so I don't understand what they're talking about. But that's all the weather Futuretron tells me may or may not be real. So if you're into that, do it. If not, don't.
If you're real, the weather may not be.
Yeah, trade matter, antimatter. With the weather, exchange protons. So that's how fission works.
Swapping carbon. Swapping carbon.
Oh, either one. Nanoparticles will get you. But if you don't like it, don't do it. Stay home. Hoard your own microclimates under the bed or wherever you keep your weather. I take my weather to go in a bag.
Buried in a tin can in the backyard.
Yep, that's the best weather.
A dented coffee can.
Sure, stick it in ice bubbles. Somewhere up in the Arctic.
Nobody's going to look there.
No, not for a while. We're just going to melt it off and let all that come out later. Re-weather.
We have the community calendar coming your way. And right after that, stay tuned for the next attempt, the emergency odd hour show reboot.
You need to get that song from the emergency broadcast system.
Yeah, we need to try to do that. We're gonna get this right. We only have one more top of the hour where we can do this.
Okay.
This is our last chance to get the first segment there started the way I intended it.
He's still trying to play his first song for the show.
We're still trying to get to it. We're still trying to get it to come off the right way.
Yep.
So listen for that right after the community calendar. That odd hours emergency show reboot.